It is our quality time interview on Kansas Sports Chatter. Brett Clow with the Weskan football team joining us here today. He is our guest. And, Coach, for you look at Weskan football, what are the numbers like? How many you got out for football this year?
Yeah, this year we have 15. That's a really good number for six-man football. That does include 2 foreign exchange students, so that's a common thing out here, especially in Weskan. And so it's always a fun dynamic to have new guys. But yeah, 15 of them, which is good.
I know numbers will always kind of fluctuate, and you guys been in that six-man ranks for a number of years now, but has there ever been a year that you're kind of flirting with, like, maybe we go back up to eight-man, or is you guys pretty stay put in six-man?
Yeah, I think it goes that conversation can sometimes happen. As we have seen six-man grow, we feel like we are a pretty solid six-man team. Like you said, numbers can fluctuate, and that can change. If you have 12 kids and all of a sudden a couple kids move away or whatever, now you're down to 9 or 10. So, yeah, there's years where we do have 14 to 16 kids, and that feels like a healthy number. We've been just maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we were in the 8 to 9 range. And so out here, it's, I would say we're probably a pretty solid six-man for the long term.
When you guys made that switch to six-man, though, it didn't seem like it took you long to figure out the new style. What was key for you on kind of making that switch and just the learning curve with it?
Yeah, I guess to just give you a little bit of backstory about Weskan, we were, been playing football for a long time, obviously. We're eight-man for a long time. But then in 2014, I was not coaching here. Mark Coles, who's a really great coach and it was very successful at the eight-man ranks for a long time. He was the coach at Weskan, so it was 2014, and just hit a year that they were really hovering that 8 to 9 number, and it just didn't seem like a feasible plan to go with an eight-man. So there were some co-op conversations started. All of that kind of fell through, and so that was kind of the birth of six-man football here in Kansas. Was Weskan kind of jumping into it and had a lot of support from surrounding schools, league schools that helped them build a schedule. And so started in 2014. I came in 2015. And so there was a learning process of just getting to figure out the game. But I think it has served us well to, after, I guess now this is my 11th year, we've learned a lot about the game and learned little nuances that can help us. But it can be challenging, but it's actually a really fun game.
Yeah, you've learned a lot. Learned how to win a state championship. But for you, like you talk about the co-op, how difficult is that? I mean, you just talk about the science behind that, the logistics, I guess, even with travel. Is that a challenge when you're even trying to put together one of those co-ops, even if there is somebody somewhat close by?
Yeah, I think so. There's always a lot of factors that can play into that. It could be a schedule, different school schedules, or just a lot of things. And so, that big conversation happened kind of before I was here, and six-man has allowed us, again, through the ups and downs of enrollment, has allowed us to keep football here in Weskan, which has been it's been a great thing.
So for you, with Keisha not sanctioning six-man football until 2022 with an official state championship, what was it like in those years prior as far as, competing, but then not having that in prize at the end of the year? Was that difficult?
Yeah, I'll kind of give you some more background here. So in 2014 and 2015, there was no playoff or anything within six-man football. I was proud of the kids during that time that played because, again, they had a lot of pride in playing hard. And you would have never known that, I think when we played, you'd have never known there was no playoff at the end for them. And so that's a group that I'll remember forever. But starting in 2016, you started to see some growth in six-man. They were kind of within our league and in Western Kansas. And I think teams just saw what we were doing at Weskan and kind of thought that it could be something that would be good for their school. Again, a lot of schools fighting the numbers game, struggling to field teams each year. And so, yeah, there was a group in 2016 that formed a playoff system. It was real small. I think there were 8 teams at the time. And Dodge City came in and actually provided a state championship or a six-man championship for us, and it was a great experience. They rolled out the red carpet. They made it feel like a full state championship game. And so I think as teams just kind of saw from the outside that this was a growing thing, you see what Dodge City was doing. You just kind of started to see the slow trickle of teams being interested. And so fast forward, from 2016 all the way through 2021, it was just a cool time to just kind of see it grow organically and slowly. And then fast forward to, I guess, 2022, when there was enough teams, 24 teams, to be recognized by Acacia. That's kind of when everything switched over. And it's been, sorry, that was our bell system. But since 2022, it's been really cool to see it continue to grow and to have Acacia involved.
Brett Clow joining us here, the head coach of the Weskan football team. Now, you mentioned that 2016 team. They went 8-0, coach. So I got to ask, is there a banner somewhere for that 2016 team?
Absolutely. Yeah, we recognize that we wanted those kids to be proud of what they accomplished. Yeah, even in a small environment, I think, what we saw was that we wanted to promote, those kids. And other teams did that too. Pawnee Heights and Shiloh, teams who won during that time. I think it kind of just continued to help grow the game.
Have you created the 2024 state championship banner? So, I mean, and how big is it?
We have, and it's we went same size.
Okay.
Like all the others. It's not hung up yet, but we did actually get it designed, and it's here.
Hey, Weskan football, and you guys were able to get honored, during the off season and going to Topeka, going to see the governor. What was that experience like? And did you give the governor any advice?
Absolutely not. Nope. She, I would be surprised if she actually knew where Weskan was, but she did. She was cordial. She shook our hands. It was a great experience. But yeah, just a really cool thing for our team to get them out of Weskan, out of Western Kansas. We have a state representative from Weskan, so he is the one who actually extended the invite. And again, something to, I guess, cherish the moment of winning state, but then provide a really cool experience for our kids who maybe something they'll never do again.
Coach, any level of football, I mean, everyone knows that, that quarterback position is very important as far as leading your offense. My take, I feel like in six-man football, is there almost even more importance because I feel like, a lot of times, plays will break down, that ability to stretch things out, the ability to extend a play. Do you almost feel like there's a more importance to have that athletic quarterback in six-man football?
What we've learned is athletic, good quarterbacks really make it hard on defenses. And so I think teams that do have a good quarterback, an accurate passer, but then if you throw on the ability to run, that just creates a nightmare scenario for defenses. There's not a lot of guys on defense, and a lot of times it does create a one-on-one or even a two-on-one situation to put the defense in conflict. And so, yeah, I mean, I think as you look over Kansas six-man football, I think teams that have had a lot of success have had a really good quarterback.
Does that go into your selection process when you're trying to choose that next quarterback and replacing somebody, whether, maybe there's more of I don't want to say a pocket passer, but someone that can throw the ball a little bit better, or maybe there's more of a true athlete that can use his legs a little bit more? Does that kind of go into your selection process?
I think there's a balance there, and I think it is kind of dependent on the rest of your team. Right now, I would say our quarterback, who's had a lot of success, I would probably categorize him more as a pocket passer type kid. He's athletic, but we have athletic pieces around him. And so I guess the way we have designed our offense now is that we want to run the football and establish some type of run, even if that's out of a spread look and some motion. But then play action and getting the ball out quick. A lot of times you get a hard rush and it forces the ball out. And so we take our shots, but we try to have balance within our scheme, within run, quick passing game, play action. And so right now, yes, I would say he's more of a pocket passer and he's very accurate, which is very helpful. But there have been years where we have put maybe the best athlete there at quarterback, and that can be dependent again on what you have around him. Do you have somebody who can get that athlete the ball, or do you just need to get it to them now? And so the nuances of six-man football create, like, you just can't line up and run quarterback draw or quarterback power. You have to have that exchange. And so there's you just kind of have to work through that a little bit.
For you, like for tackling, the simplicity of tackling, how much time is actually spent there at Weskan just practicing tackling? And I know because as you go throughout the season, you don't want to have too much wear and tear, but also it's very important. So, like, how much time do you actually spend?
Yeah, I think early on, quite a bit, and just the fundamentals. You have young kids learning how to tackle. There was a quote from one of my friends who coaches at Friends University. He said the best way to get better at tackling is have a birthday. And so just guys who get older, obviously, and naturally get better at it. But yeah, we focus a lot on fundamentals and working on open field tackling. That becomes a pretty important piece of. There's a lot of situations where it's just one-on-one, but then over the course of the season, that really we tone it down a little bit more to just stay healthy and to just putting the guys out there that we trust who can go do that.
Tackling for you. So you mentioned that, the time you spend, but also just the technique. Like, what are you preaching to your players for tackling at Weskan? Let's go with, like, say, open field tackling. What are some of the techniques you can dive into the nuts and bolts here, coach?
I think one, we have to take good angles, and six-man so wide open a lot of those times. The old Oklahoma drill or the inside drill, that obviously you can be in those tackling situations, but a lot of the plays that we encounter are angles. It's towards the sideline, and so we have to obviously judge our speed well and take good angles. We follow a lot of the same techniques that you see at the NFL or college or high-level high schools. You're starting to see more target the inside hip and take away that cutback and just kind of use the sideline to your advantage. And then a lot of times we are typically an undersized team. And so just having good leverage, having a good aim point a little bit lower. We don't like to take guys up at the shoulder pads because that often ends poorly for us. So if we're fast and hit a good point, and this is driving our feet. So I guess if you're breaking down tackling, that's probably what we would teach the most.
Coach, appreciate your time and best of luck this year.
Thank you very much.
That is Brett Clow, the Weskan football coach. Now do it for our quality time interview on Kansas Sports Chatter.